What's up, everybody? Team Wilpers, how's it going? This is the week 3 briefing for the pumpkin spice training block. Sorry guys, I was running a minute or two behind, scrambling a little bit. Some of you may know I'm not the most technically inclined, but making do. I couldn't print. I ran out of ink on my printer, so I'm gonna use my notes on the computer. You can see the reflection in my glasses, which I do have to wear. What's going on here? I'm in Middlebury, Vermont, where it is fall and the leaves are falling, and I've had fun the last couple days spending time out on my trails with the leaf blower and then going out and riding. It's a beautiful time, 60 degrees or so. The ground is fairly dry. As long as you get the leaves and the sticks out of the trails, you can go out and ride. So if you all are into that, that's cool. But also, man, this training block is pretty intense. At least I think so. The rides are heating up. So anyway, I promise you, I'm not really doing the structured rides per se, but I am out riding, and I promise you, there are plenty of Zone 5 and Zone 6 intervals in mountain bike effort. So. All right, like you all, I am shooting for consistency, and speaking of that, we have some consistency winners. If you're new to Team Wilper Cycling, we do a little giveaway every week. Well, I think every week. It is supposed to be sporadically, but for consistency, so at random we draw 2 people who have done 100% consistency. So check the boxes in the Team Wilpers portal after you do your rides, and you are eligible to get some Team Wilpers swag. So Erica Palumbo and Tracy Hart were chosen at random. They were 100% compliant for the first week, so congratulations, you guys. I'll do a post also, but you'll get an email, and we'll be looking for your address, and we can send you some cool stuff. So a couple of consistency and compliance, there's a couple of questions, or at least one in particular that stuck out about being exactly compliant, and specifically, what about doing the 120-minute ride, or the 2-hour Matt Wilpers ride coming up next Saturday, I believe, not this Saturday, next Saturday. And I did answer it, but just in case you missed that, yeah, go ahead and do a different ride on most any day, as long as it is pretty close. Check the box. We lay out the schedule, and you can make some decisions on your own, of course. The point is to be consistent and to have a plan and train. So I posted yes to go ahead and do the longer ride on the 28th if that's what you want to do. But hopefully you are also doing the longer ride this coming Saturday, and you did the longer ride last Saturday to build up for it, and it's not just 2-hour ride out of nowhere. I like things to make sense and fit into a bigger puzzle, or part of the bigger program. So throwing it in on your schedule out of nowhere just because is not, well, it is a reason to do it just because it's there, but try and build up to it, and then maybe use that as a launching point for something else, or maybe you have that as a cool down ride from Pelafando or a fun. Anyway, there's a lot of different ways that a 2-hour ride can work into the program. So speaking of which, we are all of us in this group, we're all at different fitness levels and different points in our cycling fitness journey. So the same rides for everybody throughout the program might not be best, and it's not really efficient, or doesn't work. So we have the pumpkin spice light, we have the pumpkin spice difficult, we have the core group of rides. Some of you follow the timers that I put out, and actually big thank you to Jill. Jill, thank you for doing the timers for me. Jill Wood over in England, putting the timers together for me is a huge load. Anyway, you might be following the timers, and there's just you might even see some folks that I coach privately posting their graphs in this group. And the point is just we don't all have to do the same exact rides to be going through the same structure. So we can all follow the same bigger structure. In other words, we're all doing week 2 of a 3-week build and then follow it up with a recovery week, okay? Then we'll do 1 week of overload and then a taper week to finish up, leaving us ready to perform or test or do something. So this whole plan builds on the last training block that we did called the summer send-off that was a little less intense and focusing more on endurance. And actually, that one built on the first 2 beta training blocks, which had a lot more volume and had longer drawn out intervals and more time at my favorite 75% of FTP. So it does have, every plan has some thought and every week has some thought, and just know that we don't all have to do the same rides or the same amount of time. So you can follow the structure whether you're riding 3, 4, 7, 13 hours a week, or if you're a 20-year veteran, 10-year veteran, or if this is your first year training, you can still follow the general weekly structure. And that's why this works for everyone. That all being said, intensity is creeping up, and if you haven't noticed, it's getting spicy. So it's important to be ready to do the harder rides. The harder workouts being on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. Look at the structure ahead of time. That's why we put it out there. Know what you have coming up, especially when there are zone 4, zone 5, zone 6. You have to know what's coming up, okay? These intervals are not meant to produce anxiety, but give yourself credit and for the hard work that you've done, and know that you're actually capable of doing these things, and it's pretty cool to be that strong. So get quality sleep, eat properly, plenty of nutrient-dense foods to prepare and recover from these harder workouts. Okay. All right, so that's the point is I want you to be ready for these and not just show up and turn on the Peloton and be surprised that it's a hard ride. We're thinking ahead. You're looking at what's coming, and I want you to be prepared mentally and physically. And part of that is getting good sleep. Part of that is being mentally prepared. Also, part of it is nutrition and eating good food. So I'd love to do some more talk on nutrition. I'm still looking for somebody specifically to do a talk about nutrition. So if you do have questions, or if you do have topics about nutrition is a huge topic. So let's start talking about it. And what questions do you have? And Christy, pizza. All right. Anyway, the point is I want you to be ready for these workouts as they are fairly intense, okay? Let's talk about the actual workouts. Karina, apple pie. By the way, there's a guy in town that makes apple pie ice cream. Oh my gosh, it's really good. That counts. Apple pie ice cream. Okay, Monday, we do have a max ride. Zone 6 intervals, 2, 3, and 4. And 5 times, okay? So you're going to do zone 6 intervals, 2, 3, 4, and 5 times. 30 seconds, followed by a 2-minute at zone 5. Now, if you're looking for percentages, I like 135% for zone 6. I like 115% for zone 5. That's what will be in the timer. And since the intervals are more intense, recover at 60% between the zone 6s, and recover at 70% after each of the zone 5 intervals. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Now let's go back. If you did the power profile, the power max ride, you have your zone 6 number, you have your zone 5 number, and maybe you're higher than 135%, or maybe you're lower. Use the result from that power zone max test. Where were you for your 1-minute max? Use that for these 30-second intervals. Where were you for your 5-minute maximum? What percentage of FTP? Use that for your zone 5. Does that make sense? If you don't have those, use 135% and use 115%. Okay, these intervals are working on anaerobic capacity, but also your ability to recover from interval to interval. So repeating it over and over again is also part of it. These get interesting. It's pretty intense. So let's get it on. I can't wait to see how those turn out for people. All right, Wednesday, we turned it down a little bit, but not that much. We're going to sweet spot, 90% of FTP. That's spaced right between zone 3 and zone 4. I think you get a lot out of these intervals, allowing you to work near threshold right here. But still pushing you close to your limits, close to your limits, but leaving a little something in the tank for the rest of the week. Okay, I don't want to burn you out totally. Thursday is a PZE, and take it a little easier on this Thursday. Thursdays and Sundays are meant to be recovery rides. We're not trying to break any records here. I go 80 and 70% with this PZE. Take it a little easy. You're just trying to stay recovered, get recovered, stay recovered, getting ready for Saturday. Saturday's coming up. The core ride is a 1-hour PZ ride with 3 2-minute zone 5s, 3 4-minute zone 4s, and 3 5-minute zone 3s. Again, I like 115% for the zone 5s, but if you have a different percentage from your 5-minute test, use that number. 100% for zone 4, 85 for zone 3. Okay, a little bit more intense on this Saturday. Some of you are doing the longer ride, which has 90-minute PZE, meaning zone 3, zone 2. I left it at 83% and 66% for that longer ride if you choose the difficult model or week. So that's the longer ride. And if you are doing the longer 120-minute ride in the coming weeks, I do think you should do that longer ride. Oh, that's for week 3. So sorry, never mind. I said that. You could either choose the 90-minute ride from this schedule or the 2-hour ride from Matt's live ride. Okay. Afterwards, Sunday will be a recovery ride. PZE, again, keep it at 80% and 70% for the PZE, and that'll keep you in good shape. So no breaking records on Sunday. All right. So talking about being ready for a hard workout, mentally, physically, how about fueling for a workout? What are your go-to meals? Who's got anything? Post it up. So ideally in a hard workout or even a bigger event, with a couple events coming up, here's just to start off the nutrition thing. A couple of hours before you start a longer ride, that's when you should be finishing a meal. And you don't need to overeat. You don't want to overtax anything, but you should be finishing a well-balanced meal a couple of hours before it, if that's possible. Sometimes we start early in the morning and that's not quite possible, but ideally you've had a good carb-heavy meal the night before and a regular, well-balanced meal the morning of, and 2 hours up to it, you can your glucose stores, otherwise known as glycogen, are full. Okay, I just saw a video on Instagram with Matt was talking about bonking and running out of glucose or running out of stored glucose while on a longer event, and bonking and feeling tired. He explained it very well. You bonk later if you start with a full tank. Let's just put it that way. So you don't want to overfuel, but putting some glucose and some carbohydrates in your system beforehand is helpful. And then as the event goes on and it's longer than 1 hour, actually it's fair game to replenish your stores. And fear not, because if you're taking in sugar or glucose while you're working out, I believe it does go right to the working muscles, and it doesn't get stored as fat like if you're sitting still and eating it. So a different situation. And Matt had 3 packets on there, and I just wanted to share one other one. So this is pure Vermont maple syrup, made especially for athletic fueling. This packet right here is syrup. It's simple sugar, and it's 100 calories. Now, newer research says that athletes in fairly intense efforts, after, over time, an hour or longer, 2 hours, you can start consuming 40 to 60 grams of carbohydrate per hour. So who's doing Pelefondo or the Hincapie Fondo or Max 20-minute ride. You know, some of these events are coming up. I don't want anybody to be caught off guard, and it is fair game to start fueling during a ride. This being 100 calories is not even 30 grams of carbohydrates. So 1.5 of these per hour is fair game. He mentioned ones with caffeine. I would save those towards the end of your longer events, just so it doesn't make you have to go to the bathroom. But here is salted cocoa, and that one does have some salted cocoa maple syrup. Doesn't that sound good? Oh my gosh, it's a treat. Anyway, taking on carbohydrates while you're riding and putting that carbohydrate, the glucose, right to work right away is fair game. And let's start talking about that. So 2 things. I want your go-to pre-event meal. Start posting up. We'll start a post. And what are you doing for fueling, and what do you want to know about fueling? And if you're doing a longer event, let's make sure we have that squared away. Okay. And again, this just scratches the surface in the topic of nutrition, but let's look at the fueling, nutrition as fueling your body and your workouts for this time. So, all right, cool. You have your workouts, you've got the rest of this week, and still some intensity coming the rest of this week, and I hope y'all are doing well, and I'll see you again next week. All right.